So talking a little bit about the selection of books for your book club, how difficult has it been for you to consistently find books to read? Is it something that you've been fighting over, or do you feel like there's lots of choice and you don't even have enough episodes to record? There's so much choice, or do you feel like, oh, you really have to look closely and start thinking about what to read next? How has it been your experience?
Can we give a shout out to our book curator?
I was just gonna say
she's a godsend. She's the one that really gives us books in our lap.
Yeah,
for us to choose
Samantha
from.
Dramina-Mante is a friend of ours. She's based in Canada, so we're quite an international team. But what was I gonna say? I've lost my train of thought.
I feel like there was a point, maybe last year or the year before, it felt like the authors that we were reading were just typically Nigerian.
Yeah.
And we were being very intentional about steering away from that. Not because we feel like Nigerian literature isn't worth reading. It's just that because it's one of the most, they pump out so many great authors. We just want to give other authors from other places in Africa a chance to shine as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we did have that phase. So I think when we started the book club, the books came from us and what we wanted to read because we were going on like these personal journeys as well. But then typically you have listeners saying, oh, have you read this? Oh, I'd love for you guys to do that. So there's a bit of that influence. But then you also want to capture all the different authors. We don't just want to do the Chimamandas and the international names. You want to do the lesser known people who've written great work, just maybe haven't been heard of as much. Or we want to hear a story from North Africa rather than, sub-Saharan Africa, which we're more familiar with. So it's a combination of Sam's really hard work and actually looking for diverse content for us staying engaged, because then if we read a series of books that we don't enjoy, we're not going to give great content. Still having like personal recommendations and giving people what they want to hear as well. Yeah.
So both of you have gone to school in the UK, right?
And Ghana.
Yes. And Ghana, okay.
Yeah.
But that is even adds an interesting layer to this question, because you having to start your own podcast focusing specifically on African literature and to go on a personal journey of discovering heritage, where you come from, and just, opening up a different avenue. What do you think that says about the way in which we here in the West are raised and what we are fed, and by extension also what we are fed in the schools and through the curricula, even in Ghana, which is in Africa? What does it say about that?
How much time do you have? I have a lot to say about that. I think it's disappointing that it's not really, Black history in general is not taught as general history, although Black people have been involved in every major historical event. Anything international involves every region of the world, right? However, you don't hear about soldiers from Africa who fought in the First, Second World War, or the fact that African American soldiers were sent to the front line in Vietnam. So there's a lot that we don't hear about. History is told by the winners, really and truly. And you would think that my living in Ghana gave me the opportunity to delve a bit more. It didn't. I went to an international school, and so I followed the British curriculum. And even though it was international in the sense that there's a bit more choice in terms of the history that we studied, the literature that we studied, it was still very Eurocentric. So I got to study Things Fall Apart for my literature international GCSE. However, history, we had the choice of, I think, Germany, Russia to specialize. It just wasn't relevant for me. We chose Germany. I think it's time for people in UK institutions, not just government. I think different institutions need to stand up and say, there's a big chunk of people that we're missing out here. That's within science, in the arts, in history. We have to start telling other people's story, other people's version of events, especially if we consider ourselves global. And if you want to equip students to actually be able to succeed globally, you need to educate them on a global level, not just according to the British Empire and the wars that we won. Yeah.
Or even to paint a more wholesome narrative. Like, a part of British history is it's not just focusing on like the slave trade, but also Black people's involvement in how Britain has got to the place that it has got to today. It's only fair that we know. Like I remember in history lessons, we watched Roots, and I remember feeling very embarrassed, and I think it's probably because I saw someone that looked like me, that was being subjected to so much pain, and then looking at my white male teacher and expecting him to try and speak on it.
Yeah,
it just
to teach you.
Yeah, it made me feel so uncomfortable. And even back then, how Black history was taught was just awful. But I just think it's because Britain still to this day is ashamed of that part of their history.
Yeah.
Even though it's the truth, like, let's not hide from it.
Stormzy recently had some backlash in an interview whereby he was asked if he thinks the UK is racist, and he said 100%. And even the way his comment was treated is a reflection of UK culture. A Black man has said something that is triggering, and so therefore you manipulate his words to say something else. And then the headlines were saying that Stormzy says the UK is 100% racist. That's not what he said. His response is, 100% the UK is racist. And that's actually just the general behaviour. If you ever called somebody racist, oh my gosh, no, I'm not racist. Jerry, he's Black, he's my neighbour. You know?
Yeah.
But then how do you treat Jerry differently to other people? And actually just acknowledging our failings, where we can do better. We're not very good at that. So before we can expect there to be a change in our education system and in our society, first we have to admit that there is a problem, and we're not even there yet, I don't think.
100% agreed. Yeah. So do you see your book club as a kind of personal revolution against the system?
Yeah, part of people.
I think now I'm awakening to that realization. In the beginning, I think it was very individualistic. I just wanted to know more about where I was from, and to read more into the stories of people that look like me. But 4 years now down the line, reading books like Children of Virtue and Vengeance, and like you were talking about revolution and evolution, we were discussing that, realizing that this really is some form of activism. I don't know if you're aware of this, but yeah, it is. But I feel like doing something that's against the status quo and being bold about it really is, true to what you've just said.
I'm glad you think that way, because when Akanyene and I came across your book club, we were like, right, this is amazing. You know, you focus on African literature only, and just by doing that, something that started off as a personal journey is becoming something that has had impact on others. And sounds great. How has the reception been in general?
I think good. We did have one hater, which I was very impressed by. Because when you have haters, it means you're doing something triggering.
Yeah.
So it's good. I think what I have been most touched by is the fact that we have a lot of listeners that are actually based on the continent. So I guess us living in the UK, I just thought this was just going to be very UK-centric and also very Ghanaian, as we're both very Ghanaian. But we have listeners in Ghana and other countries, and I found that really inspirational, because it's twofold in that, yes, we want our diasporan community to learn more, but also we get to give props to people who are living their everyday lives in Africa and actually show them how they're reflected. That might trigger something in them to say, oh, actually, I'd really like to do this, and show the people in this area that I can do X, Y, Z. So I think that's probably been the most interesting response that we've had. But generally, not everybody reads. That's something else we discovered. Some people just like to hear the conversation. And that's also very telling, in that we're talking about things that not everybody is talking about.
Yeah. Do you want to add something?
No, she said it all. Stop. She said, tweet what she said.
So what's next for the Sankofa Book Club?
Oh, I like this. Feels like vision board.
You like
vision board stuff. Reach more people so that they're aware of what we do. And hopefully collaborate with more people as well that are on the same agenda. So we feel really honoured that we're here. Yeah, we get to be on Spotlite.
It's very much mutual.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Would you want to add anything else?
I think we're going to scream a little louder. think I know that
Oh.
I've not done that.
I'm an alto singer, by the way. I don't do soprano. So when you say screaming,
I think we've done this and we've gone on the journey with a lot of friends and family, and we've brought in people that we're comfortable with. But I'd like more people to hear about what we're doing and to be less concerned with upsetting people, because life is short.
Yeah. So if people are interested after watching this, which they will be, they have to be. If not, we're not going to be happy. Anyway, where can people find you and what you do and listen to your podcast and keep up to date with you guys?
She likes me to do this
because she does it so well, that's why.
We're available on most podcasting platforms. I'm going to say all podcasting platforms: Spotify, SoundCloud, Castbox, and it's the Sankofa Book Club. The SankofaBookClub.com, under construction, but hopefully by the time this video goes out, it'll be perfect. The Sankofa BC on Instagram. No, the Sankofa.bc on Instagram, the Sankofa BC on Twitter, and / the Sankofa BC on Facebook.
Cool.
No
we'll
shade
put
to
it in
Facebook
we'll put it in the description. Just before we finish, could you explain for people who may not know what your name means and where it came from?
Fun!
Okay, go on.
You go first.
Right, so just specifically my Ghanaian name.
Your full name.
My full name?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so Melody. Honestly, my mum was watching a movie about a mother and a daughter. And the daughter was called Melody, and my mum really wanted to have a close relationship with her daughter. So she was like, I'm going to call you after a movie. And I happened to sing, so producers, anyone, sound engineers are trying to hit me up. Yeah, I'm ready. I was born on Monday, so I'm named after, I'm called Ajwa, that's my Ghanaian name. And Obing, funnily enough, I got from my dad, but it's not necessarily his surname. He goes by Asomani, but I got that name from his dad's best friend. So yeah.
Nice. How about you?
So my name is Akua and Mel. Akua is a day name, so just as Melody's name is Ajwa, because she was born on Monday, Akua is Wednesday. Amponsa is my dad's middle name, and I actually hated it for most of my life until he explained that it actually means infinite or infinity, and I was like, that's kind of lit. I'll take it. I lied to a lot of people in primary school that my middle name was Alice because it was an A. So,
oh man,
so off-brand though. It's just
it really is. Akua Alice.
It shows the development.
There was like a phase. I was like, oh, what's your middle name? I was like, yeah, Alice. And yeah, Boating is my family name. It's my dad's name. So actually, it's my granddad's name. My dad is the first generation to have like surnames. So my granddad's name is Kofi. He's born on a Friday. And then Boating is his name. So after that, he kind of made it a surname. So all my granddad's siblings have different surnames, technically, because that's more of a Western culture. So yeah, Boating is my granddad's name, and it's a royal name. And a lot of people in Ghana have stolen it and borrowed it, but we are actually royals. At me.
Could we
Okay,
explain
how about
the name, the Sankofa, which I think
Yeah.
you were probably actually alluding to?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sankofa is an Adinkra symbol. It's a collection of symbols from the Akan culture. They all have different meanings, just in their display and literally by the name. So Sankofa means to go back and get it, or return and get something, and it's about learning from your past. And so it just seemed perfect for us. We're both Akan. We're using this opportunity to learn about our culture and history to inform our present and our future. And we want to invite others to do that as well. So even though it's quite a popular symbol and a popular term for a lot of diaspora activity, it just seemed like the perfect fit for what we're doing.
So you want to go back and get it, and you want others to do the same.
Yes.
Amen to that. All right. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us today. It was a great, great pleasure. And if you're watching this, don't forget to go check them out, their website, their podcast, and their Instagram.
Yeah. Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.